Ladies and gentlemen, the oath of office will be administered to Governor-elect James Hodges by the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, the Honorable Ernest A. Finney, Jr.
I want the boys too. Thank you. Thank you. Would you place your left hand on the Bible and raise your right hand and repeat after me? I, James Hodges,
James Hodges,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I am duly qualified,
that I am duly qualified,
according to the Constitution of this state,
according to the Constitution of this state,
to exercise the duties of the office
to exercise the duties of this office
to which I have been elected,
to which I have been elected,
and that I will, to the best of my ability,
and I will, to the best of my ability,
discharge the duties thereof,
discharge the duties thereof,
and preserve, protect, and defend
and preserve, protect, and defend
the Constitution of this state
the Constitution of this state
and of the United States.
and of the United States.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations, Governor Hodges.
Thank you.
Go right ahead and greet.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen,
All right, big guys.
behind you and in the skies, in the southern skies, honor is being paid to our new governor by the South Carolina Air National Guard F-16 Fighting Falcon stationed in McEntire Air National Guard Base. Here they come.
Thank you very much, Steve. Thanks so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, children, the governor of the great state of South Carolina, His Excellency James Hodges.
Thank you. Thank you very much. There are among you today two people I especially want to recognize, Governor and Mrs. Beasley, for their hard work and dedication for South Carolina. "352 days, 12 hours. As I prepared to take the oath to become South Carolina's 114th governor, I realized that's how close we are. 352 days, 12 hours to the year 2000, what most consider the beginning of the 21st century. On only two other occasions has a new governor of the state of South Carolina confronted a similar challenge. That's why I wish, in this, the last inaugural address by a South Carolina governor in the 20th century, to tell you of my hopes and dreams for South Carolina, and especially for South Carolina's children as we prepare to enter the new millennium. And I want to talk about what, working together, we can do to shape dreams into realities, what we can do to assure that our state is prepared for the opportunities and ready to meet the challenges of the next 100 years. South Carolina has a long and rich history. That history offers many lessons to ponder as we seek our state's rightful place in the next century. 2 centuries ago, scarcely more than 2 decades after the American Revolution, Governor Edward Rutledge was inaugurated as only the 35th governor of South Carolina. At the beginning of the 1800s, South Carolina was a part of a new and fragile democracy. Most South Carolinians were still feeling the negative economic effects of the Revolutionary War. Only landowners could vote. Poor farmers, women, and blacks had few, if any, rights. Public education was virtually non-existent. Governor Rutledge and other prosperous South Carolinians assumed their agrarian lifestyle would never change. They saw only prosperous times ahead. But a century later, in 1899, South Carolina stood savaged by war and ravaged by economic collapse. When Governor Miles McSweeney stood here at the Capitol to present his inaugural address as the 19th century painfully came to a close, it's hard to believe he foresaw any realistic hope of prosperity in the near future. South Carolina's history of the last 2 centuries teaches many valuable lessons. Despite examples of individual greatness and heroic struggle, the short-sightedness of leaders of earlier times failed to alert them to 3 critical realities. First, economic prosperity depended on economic diversity. Equally important, prosperity for South Carolina could only be achieved if leveraged by equal opportunity for all citizens, regardless of race, gender, or economic standing. And third, lasting prosperity could only be ensured by a system of quality public education. Yet South Carolina's history particularly its most recent history, teaches inspiring examples of leadership and courage as well. As the 21st century nears, South Carolina, phoenix-like, has risen from the darkest days of war, prejudice, and economic impoverishment. Early in this century, Governor Richard I. Manning helped reunite the state into one South Carolina after years of bitter factionalism. 5 decades later, former governors Fritz Hollings, Bob McNair, and John West provided inspired leadership during the integration of our schools and our places of commerce. In all our long history, there has been no greater engineer of public educational change for our state than former Governor Dick Riley. And my friends, it was former Governor Carroll Campbell who introduced the world to South Carolina's talented workforce and their unparalleled work ethic. Today, unlike in centuries past, we're poised to put South Carolina on the march to greatness for the next 100 years, if we have the courage to heed the lessons of history. One is an economics lesson. The Hodges administration will be a pro-business administration. We will be pro-business because we know the lives of our children depend upon the state's continued economic prosperity. Economically, we in South Carolina have a solid base of tourism, manufacturing, service industries, and agriculture, along with the beginnings of a high-tech industry. South Carolina is on the verge of becoming a major player in the global marketplace. But this is just a beginning. This is just a beginning. Not only will we continue to recruit industry, we will accelerate efforts to capture better paying jobs for our state, the kind of jobs that will fuel the economic engine of the 21st century. But economic success alone is not enough. As a businessman, I believe that we can protect our natural environment at the same time as we develop our business climate. The beauty of our state, its pristine beaches, protected wetlands, and precious forest must be preserved for South Carolina's children. A second lesson that history teaches is that the source of much of our strength to meet the challenges of the 21st century is in the strength of our people. But it must be all of our people. I'm a baseball fan. Last year, the National Baseball Hall of Fame welcomed Larry Doby as a member. The introduction of a native son of Camden into that great hall was a well-deserved tribute. But the recognition of only the second black baseball player in Major League history to break the color barrier underscores what great baseball was lost by fans and players alike by the exclusion of African Americans from our national pastime for all of those years. Thankfully, we're beyond those days, and I pledge that the Hodges administration will be an administration that celebrates inclusion. We are reaching out to members of all races, genders, and ethnic groups for governmental appointments. We realize we aren't going to win any 21st century championships with half of our team sitting on the bench. There is a third and most important lesson that history teaches. Nothing is as important to the future of our state as a quality public educational system. The only way to realize our dreams for South Carolina in the next century is to improve our public schools. I believe the overriding reason I am standing before you today is that South Carolinians delivered a mandate last November that education must be our #1 priority. I ran for governor on a platform that stressed the value of education. For me, it's no Jimmy-come-lately conversion. I was born and reared in Lancaster. Both my mother and father stressed the value of getting a good education, the pathways for going as far and as high as my ambitions could take me. A life-shaping experience. It taught me the value of hard work. Was a summer job at Springs Mills. All day, every day, I shouldered cloth or tended the card machines that turned raw cotton into fiber. Around me worked men and women with little or no formal education. Almost all wanted a better life for their children and their grandchildren. They knew the wisdom of the old saying, education is the one thing in life that can't be taken away from you. My friends, we cannot let these good people, and everyone like them, we cannot let them down. We've got to do a better job of educating South Carolina's children. Everything else, all our hopes and dreams for economic prosperity, preserving our precious natural resources, appreciation of diversity in the decades to come, everything else depends on a first-rate program of public education. That is why I am asking all South Carolinians today to join me in launching a children's crusade, a 21st century crusade of textbooks and computers and parents and teachers allied against the enemies of ignorance and indifference. All of us in South Carolina want our schools to be the best. Most of us believe wisely investing the dollars to make them the best will reap dividends for generations to come. But there also needs to be what my friends in the business world call accountability. We need prudent management of every hard-earned dollar you contribute to your local schools. Because the Hodges administration is committed to improving education without tax increases, we must adopt a statewide lottery with all the revenues targeted for specific educational needs in South Carolina. We must begin by aggressively moving to cut class size in our early grades and implementing a strong pre-kindergarten program. Lottery dollars, coupled with the commitment to make education the top spending priority in our state, can help create a truly superior educational experience. South Carolina's children deserve nothing less. We must launch a crusade for our children because that's what it will take, a commitment from those of us in government, from parents, teachers, and business leaders. If we need inspiration to join this crusade, the inspiration is close at hand. My colleague Jim Hunt, the distinguished governor of the other Carolina, who's with us here today, Jim Hunt challenged the people of North Carolina to do better by their children. And what followed was a visionary program of early childhood education. Because of Jim Hunt's strong leadership, every child in North Carolina will start school healthy and ready to learn. Lake City native Darla Moore generously donated $25 million to the College of Business Administration at the University of South Carolina. And then she had the courage to stand before state lawmakers and tell them that we needed to do more for public education or her gift might go to waste. Educators like Superintendent Herman Gaither from Beaufort County are demonstrating the innovative thinking necessary to give our children the opportunity to excel in the next century. In his district, laptop computers, school-wide networks, and internet connections are helping build a generation of thinkers and problem solvers. But it's not just individuals who've made good of their commitment. When global software giant Policy Management Systems of Blythewood went looking for skilled workers in South Carolina, they came up short. Instead of continuing to bring in outside workers, PMSC decided to grow their own. Under the leadership of Larry Wilson, the company adopted the Marion School District 3. You can find it 100 miles from PMSC, located in one of the poorest areas of South Carolina. With pledges of financial support, equipment purchases, and most of all, one-on-one mentoring by employees, PMSC plans to stay and partner with the local community for as long as it takes to make Marion the pride of the PD. But perhaps all we really need for inspiration is children themselves. I'm especially pleased to see 5-year-olds from Ms. Schwartz's class at North Elementary School in Lancaster here today. These students are among the first to receive full-day, publicly funded kindergarten. They alone should be all the motivation we need to join in the crusade to make South Carolina's schools on the path to greatness. Now, like many speakers on such occasions, I look for an inspirational story to conclude today's remarks. I didn't have to look far. Earlier, I mentioned when I was growing up, my parents stressed the benefit of education. My mother, Betty, went one better. She provided a living example. After completing high school, my mother began college work with dreams of a career, but she was forced to withdraw from school for lack of funds. Marriage and family followed. But she never gave up on her dreams. When I was 3, with the encouragement of my dad, my mother went back to college. With 3 young children, 3 pesky young children, her only times to study were early in the morning and late at night. But she kept at it, course after course, until she finally earned her bachelor's degree. But that was just the beginning. The same year I was graduated from high school, she earned her PhD. What followed was a distinguished career as an educator, helping many non-traditional students like herself realize their dreams. She never gave up. She never gave up on her dreams for herself or for her children. Join me, my friends, join me, so that our children never have to give up on their dreams. Other leaders from other states have claimed that the next 100 years belong to them. They're wrong. I promise that I will devote every bit of energy, every bit of strength and heart and mind that I possess to this office. And with the help and support of my family, especially my partner of 11 years, my wife Rachel, with the help and support of the people of South Carolina, and with the blessings of Almighty God, the dawn of the 21st century will herald a period of unrivaled prosperity, boundless opportunity, and most importantly, the golden triumph of education over ignorance that will lead a future South Carolina governor standing in this very spot 100 years from today to look back with pride and truthfully proclaim that the 21st century was indeed the South Carolina century. Thank you.